Swapsy going to be playing that Destruction Warlock and Chaz on that Restoration Druid. And I'm really curious to see if Swapsy is going to be playing that Demonic Portal instead of that Mortal Coil, because that's what Chanimal did yesterday in their games against Method Orange to bring them victory.
All right, we're going to find out very shortly. If we do see that green little circle going down on the ground, we know the Swapsy did go for that option. If we see those Mortal Coils flying, we know he went with the more standard cookie cutter build. He's going to be opening right now Method Black, first wildcard game, and you can vote in the chat and let us know who you think is going to be able to take this series.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen Waz on Rogue, and now it's definitely a pleasant surprise. Method Black tagging in Waz, bringing in that Rogue Lock Druid composition, and we've seen this do quite well against the Windwalker Death Knight, although I have to say, I still feel like Wildcard Gaming, if they play this matchup right, they still have an advantage.
Yeah, so when we've seen Wildcard Gaming go head-to-head with Method Black in previous weeks, Wildcard Gaming have crafted this Windwalker Death Knight Mistweaver, and Method Black really had no response to it. We saw them trying any composition under the sun. This time deciding to lead with the blind pick with the Destruction Warlock Assassination Rogue. We saw success from the move in North America yesterday in this matchup, but I would say that Never Lucky's Windwalker Death Knight is not on the same caliber as Wildcard Gaming's, so potentially it's not the perfect answer. Maybe it's better than everything that they have. I'm surprised that they didn't lock in a Mage Warlock composition, since we saw that completely dismantle Method Orange Cleave setups. But so far, it's pretty evenly fought. Now with mana slightly in favor of Wildcard Gaming. However, cooldowns falling behind. Blizzo a vulnerability. Waz with Smoke Bomb available. Very curious to see if Waz decides to make a move in that regard. Instead, actually just attacking Looney, trying to create pressure in multiple places. And also by attacking the healer, he can avoid getting leg swept. Ultimately walking into it there, getting gripped, sorry. And now Swapsy gets bursted. Triple crowd control set up from Wildcard Gaming. Swapsy really taking a beating, then the double Mortal Coils to deflect. You always want to try and crowd control a Mistweaver during Way of the Crane, and methods that Method Black have to do that is the Mortal Coil, the Fear, the Kidney Shot, and the Blind or a Bash. In that situation, they weren't able to get a Fear, so Swapsy took a lot more damage than normal. But now Blizzo on the back foot. This is the vulnerability that has kind of made itself apparent now that he has no personal defensive cooldowns. Still waiting for that Kidney Shot Smoke Bomb. Looney's out of position if Waz decides to go for it. I'm surprised that he hasn't already.
Yeah, definitely. Blizzo could be in some trouble. No Touch of Karma. Caught into a Kidney Shot without his Gladiator's Medallion, but Anti-Magic Zone trades out from Zeepai, and that will ultimately keep Blizzo alive. But they didn't really get any cooldowns from Method Black, so Method Black he still has a Vendetta available coming up in a few seconds, and that's going to be an opportunity for him to push through and maybe take Blizzo down before he can get that Touch of Karma off. If they can land a full Kidney Shot with the Smoke Bomb, Method Black could close out this game.
Another Kidney Shot with Vendetta, and they didn't Smoke Bomb. I really don't know what situation Waz is waiting for. I mean, now Touch of Karma has been traded out, but he's been sitting on this Smoke Bomb when an enemy player had no Gladiator's Medallion for 2 minutes. That was a huge opening that Method Black have missed. Swapsy now on the back foot. Tons of pressure being tossed at him. Mana not looking great either for Method Blacks, assuming that Wildcard Gaming can deny drinks. Blizzo gets stun locked again. There's the Gladiator's Medallion and Diffuse Magic. So a lot of cooldowns exchanged all at once, and Method Black have set up the exact same situation that they had previously, where now they can drop an Infernal and go for a Smoke Bomb play, try and crowd control Looney as he moves into the Smoke Bomb. I think that strategy would be most effective before dampening. Waz gets swapped too, caught into a triple stun. Swapsy, why would they go for a Shadow Fury onto the DPS? Now they have to wait for the Kidney Shot diminishing return. Swapsy likely to use the Demonic Gateway to escape the Abomination. Maybe it's still on cooldown. I'm surprised to not see him try and just run away from it. Instead, going for the Infernal. Well-placed Cataclysm. That's going to get Immolate on all of these ghouls, and that's going to allow Swapsy to generate Soul Shards much more rapidly, which allows him to pump out Chaos Bolts. See if Swapsy can get some Chaos Bolts out. Smoke Bomb gets dropped. Blizzo is able to escape. Swapsy was unable to cast. Zeepai getting pressured. Surprisingly large amount of pressure onto Zeepai here before dampening.
Yeah, and Chaz, I think he's actually sitting down for a drink. If he can get a drink here, Method Black, they were way behind on mana. Did manage to sip for a little bit, regenerate some of that mana. Zeepai still low, Blizzo as well. Looney trying to play catch up here with the Way of the Crane, throwing some added damage. Paralysis on Chaz, the crowd control begins. Can they get the Unending Resolve from Swapsy, that major defensive cooldown? Swapsy doesn't want to use it too late, but might be able to hold on pre-dampening with Iron Bark. That Destruction Warlock is going to be incredibly tanky.
Zeepai getting bursted. Mana is evening out. It's anyone's match here as we get closer to dampening. Looney's going to want to hold on to as much mana as possible to use Way of the Crane. Currently crowd controlling up Chaz. This is a good opportunity to burst down Swapsy and get an unending resolve, but it's actually Zeepai who's falling behind. Chaos Bolts connect. Life Cocoon denies the kill for now, but even still, they've managed to crack through that cocoon. Perhaps a very well-polished Rogue Warlock Druid is the answer to the Windwalker Death Knights. It's still a little bit too close to call, but their pressure is certainly mounting. Now we see Swapsy getting pressured, unending resolve exchanged for that Abomination, which is a fair trade. Blizzo and Swapsy both under fire.
Yep, Blizzo trinkets out. Gladiator's Medallion no longer available, as well as the Diffused Magic. Luckily, still has a touch of Karma, but a huge Chaos Bolt connecting from Swapsy. Now Blizzo, he's vulnerable. Looney doesn't have a trinket. He doesn't have the Life Cocoon either, so there's really no safety net for Wildcard Gaming, but they're still pushing through. They want to try to take Swapsy down. The pressure from Wildcard Gaming this matchup has been so immense, better than any other Windwalker Death Knight I've really seen. Blizzo with that Tiger Eye Brew specialization has been able to shred through that Destruction Warlock defense, but now he's vulnerable with a bash onto Looney. Blizzo could potentially fall, but he's still just going for it.
A swap and drop. Waz gets swapped to and bursted, barely stays alive. Chaz is totally tapped on mana, caught in crowd control. Blizzo with limited defense. Looney needs to save him desperately, but he's caught in crowd control. Blizzo portals nowhere. Big mistake. Mortal Coil connects. Swapsy trying to fear up, potentially Looney not able to find, but a kidney shot, no smoke bomb. Maybe just damage will kill him. Looney needs to make a decision. Does he Life Cocoon and risk getting spell locked? It looks like he's trying to go for the riskier line and not use that Life Cocoon just yet. Waz is still falling behind. Both members of Method Black in trouble as Chaz's crowd control chained into the ground. Desperate moves for Swapsy to try and get Blizzo off his back. Looney gets spell locked. Could be an opportunity for Method Black to bounce back. How much damage can they do? The Abomination has entered the arena. Vendetta is shortly available. It's down to the wire.
Yeah, definitely. Blizzo very vulnerable. Chaz using his Innervate. Doesn't really have too much mana left to work with. He needs to try to keep Swapsy and Waz stable. Infernals get dropped down. Good counter pressure. Diffused Magic traded out by Blizzo to stay alive. He has a few seconds left on that touch of Karma, but he's just going for it. Double leg sweep once again. Big pressure. Blizzo messes up his board 2 times in a row. Big throws from Blizzo. Oh no, I was going to compliment him on his defensive play, but twice in a row he messes up his Transcendence. Method Black can easily capitalize on that.
That's a choke.
You coughed. That's not
whatever.
That's not what choked.
It's the same thing.
You just choked. Oh my goodness. Oh man, Sid, whatever. Zico, you hear it in the cast. They're just complimenting everything, and then one mistake, it all falls apart.
Yes, I mean, the matchup was very, very evenly fought. Towards the end of this game, you can see here, even when Swapsy has no unending results, Swapsy has basically no cooldowns. That Innovate just comes off cooldown for Chaz in the nick of time. So the only defense on Method Black is this Iron Bark and the healing from this Innovate here. Chaz doing a phenomenal job here, keeping Swapsy going. The Infernals come off cooldown, get immediately dropped here. Blizzo has his Touch of Karma almost ready. And here, if he just transcends away, he's going to have his Touch of Karma ready. He's going to be fine. And Waz, of course, having that smoke bomb. There's the Maledict trinket. Waz gets the step kidney shot because of that transcend location still being in the line of sight there of Wildcard Gaming. And that spell lock as well from Swapsy was beautiful. I think this matchup is a lot more evenly matched than what we thought here on the desk, for sure. I personally thought that the Mistweaver Windwalker DK could kind of just walk away with it. But still, I like to see that Method Black, again, brings out a new composition, and they find something to put them on even ground here with Wildcard Gaming. The mistake here or there, it shouldn't matter that much if it's a really hard counter. So I like what Method Black brought out here today, and I like that they're bringing in Waz again. We haven't seen him in a long time, and the streak is broken. Caster's curse, boys.
Yeah, so that 25-0, a pretty decent streak, but it is going to end there. Now Wildcard Gaming going to be dropping the first map that they have dropped in quite some time, and Waz, he's back. It is one of those things where you know that Method Black feels like they're in a pretty good situation where they don't just have to bring in Waz, right? All of a sudden that Raikou Swapsy synergy is going to be more in the meta, and they look fantastic with it. And now, though, Waz coming back in, he looked great.
Yeah, taking a page from North America with that Rogue Lock Druid setup, and like we've kind of been talking about, it really does look good. It is kind of an even matchup, but I really feel like for these Windwalker Death Knight teams, it comes down to the Windwalker monks just messing up defensively. I mean, it's by no means easy, but it's constant mistakes that just put them behind defensively. They're risking a lot of their defense by taking the Tiger Eye Brew specialization, which I think they have to do, but these Transcendents need to be better from the highest level Windwalkers.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah, I feel like time and time again, that is the one ability that we're looking at, and I hear from you guys that that's the problem quite a few times, and that time... I'm
just going to be honest, it's not that hard to set up right, and the amount of times we see people mess that up, it's not good.
What can cause those mistakes, though?
Just forget to place it. You just press the portal, and then once you portal, you should just drop your portal again, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You just don't press.
Is there any level of pressure that could be causing the players to mess up, or is it just a throw?
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I feel like it's just a throw, to be honest with you.
It's fair. That's completely fair. Now, as we do move to hook point, we know that we have already seen Method Black strike that first blow. And my question for you, Sid, is how did you like the composition? We hear from the desk. I think one of the most important things that Zico really did say is the idea of if the comp really does just counter super hard, one mistake isn't going to be the thing that causes that loss a lot of the times. It looks like it is going to be relatively even. We saw even in North America, though, when that comp came out for the first time, we saw the Warlock have to do some weird things. Chanimal had to do some weird things. He actually had the port, right? And typically for Destruction, you always see moving into Affliction always runs the port, but when you do hit Destro, it's always going to be running Mortal Coil because you have Havoc, so you can actually hit 2 targets with the Mortal Coil. What do you think about going for the more cookie-cutter build here and going for Coil?
I don't think Demonic Circle with the Rogue works. You don't have the extra snares from the Frost Mage. Also, when you portal away, you left your Rogue behind. Now the Rogue just gets switched to and bursted down while you walk back. You need the Mortal Coil crowd control for your kill chain. You don't necessarily want it as much with the Mage because then you put Polymorph on diminishing return, so it made sense for Chanimal to run the Demonic Circle in that composition that he was playing, but in this one in more particular for Destruction and Rogue, you want the extra crowd control to chain off of kidney shots. You can deny Way of the Crane windows. It's a little bit more high intensity. I don't think that this matchup is nearly as one-sided. I still think the Windwalker Death Knight Mistweaver is favored, but if the Roguelock Druid plays absolutely perfect, finds little openings to punish, they can definitely win. It feels more like a 60-40 with the way that this is playing out.
Do you think if Method Black loses here, that there's a chance that we do see the Mage come in with the Warlock, Zico?
I think we would have to depend on map picks as well, but potentially we could see the Mage Warlock. We have seen them actually try that against WildCard Gaming as well, and what ended up happening was WildCard Gaming just sat back behind a pillar. Method Black, they couldn't really do much. They were just channeling out those blizzards, throwing out the orbs, and then eventually in dampening, they made a push on the Warlock and they just took Swapsy down. And I feel like if they go with the Demonic Circle, that could potentially shift that matchup and make them want to lock that in, because that was the big thing. The Warlock in 20-30% dampening or so just got gripped in, and then the Windwalker DK just pushed the gas and they tunneled him down, through everything. But if you play the Demonic Circle and you have the Mage, like Sid already mentioned, you have the polymorphs, you have the snares, and if you leave the Mage behind, it's not that big of a deal. He has 2 ice blocks, it's very durable class. All of a sudden, that matchup could be swung just by that one talent change. So the meta is still kind of evolving in that regard. People are still figuring out what talents to run for these scenarios and really setting themselves up for that later stages of the game. So it's definitely possible, I would say. But then we would definitely have to see it on a big map. On this map, I'm not surprised to see what Method Black locked in here.
Yeah, and obviously this is something that we're not seeing in this particular game. We think that it may be important in this series, but I really just... That was a big talent choice that I feel like we didn't get to talk enough about yesterday, and there is some real potential to see it again today. And how important do you think it is the fact that Coil is on the same diminishing return as Polymorph? Is that one of the things that really allows you to push it when you are partnered with a Mage, in your opinion?
Well, I think the main reason why you want to be picking Demonic Circle from what we've seen, and I was really surprised yesterday that we haven't seen more Warlocks try it out. Maybe it is something that really only does work with a Mage, because as the Mage, like you kind of talked about, you want to be spamming out polymorphs, especially in those desperation moments where you feel like someone on your team could potentially fall. You use your crowd control, but then all of a sudden the Warlock doesn't really get the same added benefit from Mortal Coil, because if you use polymorph 2 times on a target, that Mortal Coil is only going to last, an insignificant amount of time, less than 1 second. So so you don't get a lot of value there. And instead of allowing the enemy team to just make those all-in pushes, grip you in, use double Ring of Peace to knock you away out of line of sight of the healer, you just easily portal away from a death grip, and then all of a sudden there's no viable target for you to really go after. Because these cleave setups, like we kind of said, they need extended periods of time on a target to sort of work through the iron bar, get through the unending resolve, and if they can't do that, then they just get countered, pressured away too easily.
It's so funny how many different things needed to move for us to ever have to talk about this, though, because every time that you saw a Destruction Warlock, it's like it wasn't often partnered with something that shared that DR. That's one of the things that's so interesting about Coil, is it really isn't ever partnered with something that's going to share that DR, at least in a way that you need to think about it. And then on top of that, it's just like, okay, you have Havoc, you have Coil. Of course you want to run both of them. It's awesome. It's sweet. You're just annoying everybody. And now all of a sudden we are seeing innovations happen, and it's going to be out in North America. And the impact between these regions, when we see both cups happening the same week, that's also been something that's been great about this entire year, is you just see NA and EU very quickly trading ideas. They're forced to. And they got to dance to the same song quite a bit.
It's kind of funny. You don't even see Demon Hunter Death Knight anymore.
Oh, yeah. Demon
We're
Hunter,
literally seeing every team play it over and over and over. Everyone's re-rolling Demon Hunter, re-rolling Death Knight, but teams have sort of figured out some answers for it, at least, and now it just doesn't seem to be as popular.
It was Method Black. It was really the Method comp, right? Method Black was running it so much, and then Method Orange, obviously, still, it's their main composition, and now where's Method Orange, right? Like, they're in a tough place because that is their main comp. They're going to need to be making some adaptations, especially coming into week number 6. That's next cup, and all of a sudden, you need to do well in that cup to make sure that you do make it to land. A lot of those Demon Hunter Death Knights not looking too great, but now we are going to get to see if Method Black is going to be able to get their revenge. Last time they went against WildCard Gaming, it was in 2 series last week. They couldn't pull a single game off of them. It was 7-0 in favor of WildCard Gaming. WildCard Gaming taking the entire tournament. They want to do it again, but they're on the back foot. Method Black trying to stop them in their tracks.
And this is the best part of watching Method Black go head-to-head with WildCard Gaming week after week, is that maybe one of them gets the upper hand on one given week, but then the other team has figured out something new to be able to overcome that adversity. And they are definitely competitive rivals, to say the least. And when they move forward to the spring finals in that LAN event, if I'm one of the North American teams in that 3rd place and 4th seed, to face them in the first round, I think I'm a little bit more than intimidated. Swapsy currently positioned on his Demonic Gateway. He's waiting for Zeepai to unleash that Raise Abomination. As soon as that giant undead creature enters the battlefield, it's likely that we see Swapsy use the Demonic Gateway to escape from it, as it does move so slowly. Waz sets up a swap on a Zeepai. That stun on Swapsy was 1 second too late. Some small mistakes by WildCard Gaming, and facing down Method Black, you really can't afford too many of those.
Yeah, definitely a really punishing team here from WildCard Gaming. What is Blizzo going to do? Doesn't have the touch of Karma, and it looks like Swapsy still has his Dark Soul as well as Vendetta available for Waz. So Method Black, at some point, they can make a huge offensive push. But like I said in the last game, WildCard Gaming, they've been doing a really good job getting pressure on the Swapsy, and I really feel like a lot of that is off the back of Blizzo with that Tiger Eye Brew specialization. Big pressure now onto Zeepai. Dark Soul gets traded up by Swapsy. Looney has to play catch-up. He has the Life Cocoon as well as the Way of the Crane for an offensive push, but opting just to sit back for now, get some crowd control potentially onto Chaz, and keep up the pressure on the Swapsy.
Method Black have had way more pressure in this game. I mean, they've got Icebound Fortitude already, Anti-Magic Zone, Blizzo's getting swapped too. This might be just him dying. His Glider Safeguard is procced. He's retreating away, not going to be getting caught off guard today, but now he left Zeepai behind, and he gets swapped to. We see the Abomination into the battlefield. Swapsy feels comfortable to not use the Demonic Gateway just yet to escape from it. Chaz locked down in crowd control. Looney looks like he may be trying to sit down for a drink. Very important for both healers to maintain their mana, but now Blizzo under fire as Looney tried to make that exchange, trading mana for a defensive cooldown. Swapsy now Chaos Bolting with redirected Touch of Karma damage. Nice Nether Ward timing by Swapsy. You can redirect the Touch of Karma damage back onto the Windwalker Monk. Now double Mortal Coil off the back of it. Swapsy trying to burst, gets Ring of Peace. They need to keep denying Swapsy's Chaos Bolts. Looking for a fear as Looney looked like he wanted to cross the map. Not going to be finding it. This map was a smart selection from WildCard Gaming. Chaz is going to be unable to drink. Looney realizing that's the only way that they'll really lose is if they let him, so he's repositioned on top of Chaz. Pressure still on both sides. In terms of damage, they're evenly matched. In terms of mana, WildCard Gaming are significantly ahead.
Yeah, definitely, and that is one of the advantages of this map, like you kind of talked about. Blizzo could be in some trouble, though. He ports away to safety with the Transcendence. He's going to be out of line of sight, tops off, but still, a lot of trouble here for Blizzo with no Trinket, no Touch of Karma. If he gets caught into a stun lock by Waz, who has that Vendetta available, it could be danger time for WildCard Gaming. Chaz sneaking away.
That Ring of Peace.
Get a drink. Piece nicely placed by Looney will deny the drink. Actually, Chaz got a surprising amount of mana there. This definitely keeps Method Black in the fight.
I think that he was hoping to pin Chaz in the room out of range of healing his team. It's a bit unfortunate that he wasn't able to hit that. That might have actually netted a kill. Chaz may need to reconsider where he positions to drink to try and avoid that Ring of Peace kill potential. But at least now he's tied mana, so they're still evenly matched in terms of damage and now evenly matched in terms of mana moving forward. Anti-magic zone, fair exchange for the Dark Soul. Good trade by Zeepai, not getting overcommitted in terms of defensive cooldowns there. Chaz now crowd control. This could be a big push onto Swapsy with a double leg sweep. Looney not moving in with the Way of the Crane just yet. Chaz with Thorns activated. WildCard Gaming just switch off that, immediately attacking a new target. Where is Waz? I'm wondering if Waz is going to ever swap to Looney. We saw a bit of pressure on Looney from Waz in the last game to try and mix it up, but this game he's been just training down Blizzo and Zeepai, maximizing his damage onto those two targets. Mana still even. Swapsy still dipping low. Chaz responds, but it may be too late. Now they have to overlap. Multiple defensive cooldowns. Nether Ward on the Gliders Maledict. Well done by Swapsy. That's keeping him afloat. If he didn't get that, he may just be dead right now.
Yeah, a lot of trouble for Swapsy, but still good counter pressure here from Method Black as all three members rotting down a little bit low. Looney charges in, gets caught into a Shadow Fury. Nice leg sweep, setting up his team to get some burst damage out onto both Waz and Swapsy. And I like that WildCard Gaming isn't afraid to put some pressure onto Waz. He's going to be taking a lot of cleave pressure from that Turbo Fist of Blizzo. And if they can consistently do that, that's going to tax Chaz's mana even more. Blizzo now with his Trinket is going to be feeling very comfortable to survive as he has to use his Gladiator's Medallion to escape the kidney shot. Looking to extend the crowd control chain onto Chaz. Paralysis into an asphyxiate stun. Swapsy at 50% health. Do they have the damage to push him over? Chaz is able to top him off.
Swapsy needs to use the Demonic Gateway. I don't think he can tank the Raise Abomination without any defensive cooldowns. But now Swapsy death grips him, or sorry, Zeepai death grips him back into the fight. All these players playing Death Knight can get confusing sometimes, but mana still even here as Dampening moves in, which is not good for WildCard Gaming. They want to have a lead in that regard so they can push forward with Way of the Crane and then overwhelm the Destruction Warlock. Mana being even still means that it's anyone's game here on Hook Point. Blizzo gets bursted. Zeepai trades once again. High value anti-magic zone, hitting two major offensive cooldowns from Method Black, being the Dark Soul and the Vendetta. But as that fades, the damage isn't going to be getting any lower. Blizzo now has to exchange Touch of Karma as well. Zeepai still has a lot in his pocket, but Blizzo, this is where we can't see a Transcendence portal mistake. He needs to make sure that he's always portaling out of line of sight. Triple stun setup by WildCard Gaming as they look to close. Chaz really under-responding to the burst, catches a big heal and manages to get away with it.
Yeah, tops off Swapsy quite easily. Blizzo, though, with the Touch of Death, is going to be able to make a huge offensive push. Looney caught into a kidney shot as Waz makes a swap, actually just crowd controlling Looney out. Blizzo still the main focus point for Method Black. Life Cocoon trades out from Looney, but they're shredding through it. Blizzo still could be in a lot of trouble. With the fused magic, he has at least one response, but if he gets caught into a stun lock from Waz, it could be devastation for WildCard Gaming.
The Abomination back in the battle, and Swapsy has no way to escape to safety. Blizzo gets kidney shots as Waz is trying to peel for Swapsy. Infernals have landed, so it's either a race to the finish or we're going to see WildCard Gaming just abandon the push. Looks like they want to reposition back at the wall in line of sight to the Destruction Warlock. I think this is a smart maneuver, avoiding the Infernal Chaos Bolts as long as possible, but now Swapsy's trying to punish for the Shadow Fury. He doesn't manage to land it. Looney gets swapped to on the Way of the Crane. This is the kidney shot and double Mortal Coil. Perfect setup by Method Black. Multiple Gliders Maledicts coming in. Looney gets feared right at the end of it. He's not able to connect too many heals. He desperately wanted to. Now tries to portal back away at very low health. Chaz actually was able to regenerate mana amidst all of that chaos, and now they have a significant lead.
That was a disaster from Looney. He pushed in with the Way of the Crane, got kidney shot, Mortal Coil feared, had to portal away, didn't get any value from the Way of the Crane. In the meantime, Chaz sat down for a drink. Now all of a sudden, Method Black, they have a wild lead. Zeepai in some trouble with no Icebound Fortitude. Going to be a vulnerable target at 16% dampening. Nice double leg sweep setup coming in from WildCard Gaming, but they just don't have the damage yet. Swapsy now with Unending Resolve is going to be feeling very safe, and things are actually looking really good for Method Black.
Yeah, right now Method Black are looking solid. Potentially 3-0ing WildCard Gaming here on their best map. This would be startling to say the least, considering WildCard Gaming's domination last week. Spelllock secured. This was a win condition that we saw in the first round. Zeepai's trying to back up Blizzo, breaking up the Chaos Bolts, but even still, double Mortal Coil now to follow it up. Is Looney going to go for the Way of the Crane? Repositioned now at the wall to try and avoid fear. They need to desperately make sure that Looney does not get feared on this Way of the Crane. He must have to use it. This damage is too high. Dampening is ramped up. Now Zeepai's a liability. 2 targets low. Looney's got one more opportunity for a big push, but Swapsy has an answer. Method Black should have WildCard Gaming in checkmate unless they make a mistake at this point. Chaz likely to activate Thorns. There's the Way of the Crane. This is the big push. They don't deny the fear. Looney needs to stay on target. He gets feared again. Still no denial. They're focused more on Chaos Bolts, but without that Way of the Crane, do they have enough damage to push him over? Way of the Crane now faded. Blizzo gets bursted, but it's a race to the finish. Unending Resolve is more than enough for Swapsy to survive as he's tossing out tons of damage, and Blizzo is likely to fall. He's just going for the kill. He has 10% health. He's going for it. No, now abandons it, realizing maybe that's too risky of a race to engage in. Looney fully blinded with no Gladiator's Medallion. Waz trying to find a target, but he has to sap Looney. I love the positioning from Blizzo. Very far away from Looney, so Waz has to pick whether or not he wants to crowd control the healer or attack the target. And because of that stall, Looney was able to sit through the blind comfortably. Yeah,
and now Looney almost has his life cocoon available as well, and that's going to allow Blizzo to make a push. Double leg sweep once again onto Chaz, onto Swapsy. They don't have any defensives left. Which team is going to fall first? Blizzo's feeling healthy. Swapsy getting lower. And WildCard Gaming ties up the series. A great offensive push there at the end. Blizzo with a beautiful Transcendence manages to escape and really makes it difficult for Waz to close out the game.
Really back and forth there, though. We see some solid offensive attempts come in from both sides.
Get out of there, and then Looney tries to shut down the drink. Well, Waz kidney shot him and does a little swap of his own to him. All of a sudden, Chaz comes back with 60% mana, and every single time that they allow Chaz to get that drink, there's not really that much they can do about it. As long as Waz keeps gatekeeping Looney from getting that stop, I think Method Black just looks really good. But at the same time, if they get to 20% dampening on the side of WildCard Gaming, they can just overwhelm Swapsy with that damage. So it's definitely a really even matchup, I would say.
This is really weird for WildCard Gaming. They opted off of playing Horde and Triple Orc, and now they're playing Triple Dark Iron Dwarf, and I don't really agree with that. I feel like Blizzo sitting the extra stuns could be disastrous for him. These 6-second long kidney shots are a lot of opportunity for Method Black to actually take him down.
Yeah, we see an early exchange of Life Cocoon for Vendetta, and that's one thing that you have to credit Looney for, is that he's got an unbreakable defense. He's definitely one of the best shot callers in the game as far as the healer role. Pressure now on Swapsy early on, bit unexpected. Falling behind to some initial burst. Chaz gripped into the fight, but Waz dodges the incoming leg sweep. Good awareness by Waz to sidestep over slightly to the left and avoid that right as the death grip animation occurred. Swapsy gets punted, maybe out of line of sight of Chaz. Nourish incoming. They need to deny these nourishes from Chaz. Not actually going for another one, doesn't want to risk the cast time. Swapsy stabilizes. Blizzo has to trade. Both these teams going all out here on game number 3.
Yeah, big pressure on the Swapsy still. The pressure is unrelenting coming in from WildCard Gaming. Chaz into asphyxiate stun out of paralysis. Good crowd control, but Blizzo in some trouble with no trinket and a kidney shot. Zeepai has to respond with the anti-magic zone life cocoon as well, used from Looney. And this is surprising amounts of damage coming in from both teams.
Yeah, huge amount of damage. Mana already being taxed. Chaz is trying to sneak away. Looney sees him, manages to stop it. They need to make sure that Chaz does not regenerate mana. It's the only way that Method Black can keep themselves going later into the match. Swapsy, however, has already used Unending Resolve. That's a major defensive cooldown, key to his survival. That's no longer available. He's not going to really be able to escape to safety. The next Raise Abomination could spell devastation for the team of Method Black. Perhaps WildCard Gaming can take the swing match. This would be normally Method Black's advantage, but by selecting Runes of Lordaeron, they took a risk to try and get more aggressive with their composition, which may actually complement the composition that WildCard Gaming have. And if they lose this, they'll lose that swing match advantage. Big burst on Zeepai. Gets denied by a huge anti-magic shield. Swapsy now getting pressured. Chaz has to make a decision on when next to use this Iron Bark. The longer that he waits, the more mana he expends, and the more likelihood that Swapsy will die. Opting to use it at this point now, but already taxing a lot of his mana. Chaz gets gripped into the fight. Triple stun secured for the team of WildCard Gaming. Looney perhaps looking to make a push with that Way of the Crane. He's got an opening.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm really wondering why Method Black decided to choose this map. They do have good pressure on Zeepai and Blizzo. Now Swapsy positioning where we thought he would, right above the staircase. And now it's really difficult for Zeepai and Blizzo to actually escape if they're in trouble. Nice little swap here coming in from Waz onto Looney, really looking to deny that Way of the Crane. A full kidney shot. Swapsy looking for a Chaos Bolt. He gets Mind Frozen. Nice denial there by Zeepai. Chaz trying to escape once again, but Looney's been doing a really good job. It's a game of cat and mouse. Chaz trying to escape, and Looney being the mouse trying to stop him, prevent him from drinking at all costs in this matchup. And if he can do that, I think WildCard Gaming, they'll be able to maintain a mana lead, which is the tipping point. Once Chaz is out of mana, he can no longer heal Swapsy through the consistent pressure of the Windwalker and the Death Knight, and that's really when we normally see WildCard Gaming end up landing the kill.
All right, Touch of Karma exchanged. We see Waz making a swap onto Looney, trying to kill him in the back line while Blizzo is still being pressured. 2 members low. Life Cocoon committed onto Looney, now not available for Blizzo, and this is why Method Black locked in this map, is so that Blizzo doesn't have really good options to retreat away. Swapsy's still under fire as well. Both teams in trouble at this point. Chaz is still crowd controlled. Looney isn't, but perhaps they can sneak in a spell lock if Looney gets interrupted. I don't think Looney wants to risk it. He may just go for a Way of the Crane. Very surprising to not see him just trying to overwhelm Swapsy. This is the risk that Method Black took by locking in Runes of Lordaeron, and it's a risk that may not pay off as Swapsy barely holding on. That Drain Life clutch fears off Zeepai on 1%. If they can stay alive, they can reverse this onto Blizzo. Swapsy holding out just a little bit longer, starting to get a little bit more stable. There's the spell lock interrupting Looney's heal. Where's the kidney shot? Waz needs to drop it as soon as possible with the smoke bomb. They can kill Blizzo if they can combine those spells together. There's the kidney shot. There's the smoke bomb. Anti-magic zone from Zeepai denies the kill. Looney tries to move in to save him, gets intercepted by Chaz. Blizz still under fire. Perhaps this won't be enough defense. But now with the Life Cocoon, the fear 1 second too late. Blizzo is likely to survive. Method Black are falling increasingly behind.
One thing Blizzo does a really good job with, even though things look scary, he trusts in Looney to keep him alive. He trusts in Zeepai to keep him alive, and they're able to maintain a lot of pressure because of that. Chaz sneaks away looking for a drink potentially once again, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get it. Dampening is just kicked in. If there's any moment for Chaz to drink, now would be it, as Swapsy's full health, Waz is full health. Zeepai looking for some counter pressure. Looney, though, getting soloed by Waz. Nicely done by Waz, both taking down Blizzo and Looney, allowing Chaz to get a huge amount of mana. Now Method Black to actually have a lead. This is disastrous for WildCard Gaming.
Yeah, Looney is just maybe going to fall here. Waz gets peeled away. They've got the Raise Abomination down. They could counter pressure quite heavily. Blizzo still under fire. Where is his Transcendence is now the question. Touch of Karma just exchanged for basically nothing. I guess the tail end of the Infernals, but Vendetta is still available. Blizzo's trying to go for a kill. He's got Touch of Death rolling. How much damage can he get done? They grip in for a double. Swapsy denies it. Waz needs to spread out. Waz has to dodge this incoming leg sweep. Trying to reposition. Chaz is moving in to try and stop Looney from his drink to regenerate mana. Looks like they've got him in crowd control. Blizzo could be in trouble. Where is the Transcendence? Blizzo trying to escape. Waz in hot pursuit. Blizzo able to now escape at the Tombstone. Waz snared up by Zeepai. Good tag team there between Zeepai and Blizzo. Now reconnecting onto Swapsy. Chaz's mana not looking too good. He's looking to try and regenerate that. Looney sees it. He's trying to cheat Torpedo, but he just went into center field during Dark Soul. Looney maybe gets swapped too. Blizzo gets feared off. And Swapsy is trying to bait incoming interrupts. Now that the interrupts are out of the way, he can get some big Chaos Bolts. He's still under fire. Maybe he just goes down. The damage is too high. Unending Resolve on 10%. Is that going to be enough? They defensively blind Blizzo. They try and go for the kill on Looney. They get denied on it, and Swapsy's still in trouble.
Yeah, Blizzo trinketed out of the blind, wants to continue the pressure with the paralysis onto Chaz. Chaz actually got stuck in the room, and that's why a lot of that pressure came from. Swapsy into a leg sweep with no unending resolve. Very vulnerable in this situation. Blizzo's topped off completely. Way of the Crane activated by Looney. Just fades now. Now is the opportunity for Method Black to try to get some pressure rolling. With no life cocoon, no way of the crane, it's going to be really difficult for Looney to stabilize his team and keep them alive. So Swapsy finds one Chaos Bolt on Blizzo, looking for another, manages to find it. Blizzo might have to retreat or just trade out the Touch of Karma right now. Things are looking very scary for WildCard Gaming.
Yeah, right now it's looking better and better for Method Black. Perhaps this risky map pick could find them victory. Swapsy needs to survive another 24 seconds, though. There's an opening. Way of the crane in 16. Looney gets sapped, though, while he was trying to regenerate mana. Nice play by Waz. Maybe setting up for the kill. Blizzo tries to run. Immediately removes that Glidier's Maledict. Now they switch to Zeepai. Deeper into dampening. Both members will be in a lot of trouble. Swapsy tries to gate to safety. Also gates on top of Looney for a fear. Gets interrupted by Death Grip. Good teamwork once again from Zeepai. Coordinates some crowd control denial. Chads gets incapacitated on the innervate. Well timed there to try and deny some free healing. Blizzo gets bursted. Looney's in crowd control. 2 members are low. Zeepai anti-magic zones. This needs to be enough defense. Will it be enough defense? Looney can pop Way of the Crane. He's on fear diminishing return. If he wants to, he can just lead the charge for his team right now. Very surprising to not see him just go for the Way of the Crane. They've got an opportunity. They're holding out on it. Grip into triple stun. Still no Way of the Crane. There it is finally.
Yep, big healing now, but now Looney caught into the kidney shot. Waz denies a lot of that healing and a lot of that damage, and as a result, Blizzo's getting low. Is Swapsy going to be able to find any damage? He finds one Chaos Bolt. Blizzo ports away, unfortunately. He actually gets vortexed on it. Blizzo just caught in midfield. Needs to be really careful once again. That could have been a disaster situation. Looney ports away. Waz chasing him down. Chaz, what is he going to do? Is he going to be able to sneak away and get a drink once again? He goes into cat form looking for a stealth. If Method Black can regenerate mana, it's danger time for WildCard Gaming at 22% dampening. Looney getting low. Blizzo rotting down. Revival trades out. Looney using everything he can to keep his team alive, but WildCard Gaming have lost a lot of their momentum.
The series has been constantly back and forth, but this is the swing match. If WildCard Gaming can overcome this and then have a Game 5 advantage, maybe they just take Method Black out. The pressure is cooking. Blind on Looney. No trinket available. Blizzo exchanges. Swapsy falls behind. Tons of damage. There's no defense available. WildCard Gaming take the swing match.
This is it's exactly what you said, the swing match. It's going to be key, and you know, the map on map 3 going to Ruins of Lordaeron may not have been the final game in the series, but Zico, that just could be the final fitting resting place. This could be the one that turns the entire thing around. A small map, it seems to favor WildCard Gaming, and they're going to take full advantage of it.
I would have much rather seen a larger map, a little bit safer play, something like the Asher Main, something like the Tolveron Arena even, but they went for the Ruins play. I think that the map wasn't terrible for them, but at the same time, it was fairly easy for Blizzo to sneak away. Again, we did see a big punish as well when Chaz went for the drink into the room. We saw that Ring of Peace basically locking the door there, and it was a very back and forth match. And the main thing that I can take from this match is that every single time Chaz goes for drinks, Waz sets up a big burst onto Looney with the kidney shot or with the stuns, and that really is what sets them up for these moments. But once you get to this point in the game where dampening is at 20-25%, Swapsy just gets overwhelmed by the damage from the Windwalker. So I feel like Method Black are more on the timer than WildCard Gaming in this matchup.
Okay, and I think that the map's definitely not going to help that. What do you think we see going into the next game now?
I'm not really convinced of the Roguelike Druid. I feel like every game we've seen so far, things have been looking really, really good for WildCard Gaming. The first game they lost was honestly a huge throw in my mind. They were winning that game just like a lot of these ones. There are moments for Method Black, but I really want to see them switch up their composition, tag in Raikou. Even if they don't have the most practice with it, I feel like the strategy is relatively straightforward, especially against a cleave setup that WildCard Gaming is bringing.
It's one of those series where it's like, as you see it more, you almost feel like it's results-oriented thinking at the beginning, right? You see it go one way. It seems like these are pretty evenly matched. You obviously have some other things as well that are in your mind coming in from yesterday from North America. But now as we've seen it play out more, it almost seems like there were some blunders that kind of clouded our vision.
Yeah, I mean, that right there could have just been Tolveron Arena. If they lock in Windwalker, Death Knight Mistweaver, you play Frost Mage, Destruction Warlock with Demonic Circle. Get your pretty much guaranteed win on that setup, because we saw how dominant Chanimal was. Maybe it's not guaranteed if the other team has some strategy adaptations themselves, but it seems pretty one-sided. They could have taken this game, not lost their swing match. Then a small map gets locked in. Sure, you go back to the Rogue Warlock. It's a small map. Take the chance that maybe you can get a kill while you're disadvantaged. Go to Game 5. go Ashamane's Fall again, Destruction Warlock Frostmage, and then just move to the grand final would have been my expectation for this series to pan out. Now, obviously, Wildcard Gaming aren't as limited as some of the North American teams that are playing Cleaves, so Wildcard Gaming could actually Wizard Mirror. Perhaps they're afraid of that, but they shouldn't be afraid of it when they know it's coming their way. So I just think that was a blunder. They threw away their swing match on a risky gamble.
You know, if I'm Wildcard Gaming now, the only thing I'm upset about is I ruined my really cool streak, because I'd be pretty confident I'm taking this entire series at this point. And that's a crazy thing to actually say. I mean, as much as you expect Wildcard Gaming to be able to go toe-to-toe with Method Black, what?
What are they doing?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen. Like, that shouldn't happen. Like, we shouldn't be in a situation where you and I are agreeing that much. I should be asking questions. I should feel absolutely lost. And I like, what?
Well, now they're throwing away another one, maybe?
What it seems like to me is Method Black, they feel like they have no choice but to run the Rogue Lock Druid. So maybe they feel like absolutely that is their best option. Maybe they don't want to try the Mage Lock Druid. Maybe they have tried it and they've lost. So they want to set up a smaller map like Dalaran Sewers, I suppose, but it doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to me. Maybe the thing they're afraid of most is if they go to a big map, let's say Tolvaron Arena, and they feel like Rogue Lock Druid is their best setup, then all of a sudden it becomes really easy for Wildcard Gaming to just hide, wait till later on in the game. But it doesn't seem like Wildcard Gaming really needs to do that. They've been having pressure from start to finish off the back of that Tiger Eye Breeze specialization. And like I said, out of all the Windwalker Death Knights we've seen, besides potentially the boys, I feel like Wildcard Gaming have looked the best in terms of their offense and their defense, besides the huge blunder on the Grand Arena. But overall,
that's something we would say last year.
Yeah, it seems like they're much more polished as a team. I think Blizzo really focusing on that Windwalker Monk has been a top priority for their team, and it really shows.
This isn't a takeaway at this point. You know, you see one small map get locked in, and you say, oh, it's potentially a takeaway. Zico, why do you think they're prioritizing these small maps?
It has to be that they just want to force Wildcard Gaming behind the pillar, get a lot of AoE damage. Waz is running the Fan of Knives build, so I guess that they just want to get that value from the Fan of Knives with the Flying Daggers and Hidden Blades, and that they want to be able to set up those triple Shadow Furies, those triple Infernal stuns. But I feel like Wildcard Gaming has a pretty easy time getting away when Method Black does that. They go in, Infernals gets dropped, Blizzo ports, he's behind a pillar already. And then he can just roll and he's already on his target again. And that's the big problem. And in addition to that, Chas needs to drink in this matchup. Looney does not. And one small thing I want to criticize Swapsy for is actually his pet control. His pet has been on Z-Pie for the majority of the games. Looney got a drink in the last game because of it. Looney's not he's not a night elf. He can't just shadow meld and drink. Just put your pet on him.
Yep. I think that's fair criticism, but yeah, it's really difficult. Normally we see Dalaran Sewers. In the past, it would be a Turbo Cleave, so Warrior Enhancement Shaman that would thrive on this map, then a Windwalker Death Knight, and then a Demon Hunter Death Knight. And it just seems like the Cleave setups on Dalaran Sewers, because of how small the map really is, and because of those little boxes that they can run and retreat to when they really need to, and then instantly be back on their target, because of how small the map is, it always favors them. So Method Black, they must have something up their sleeve. If they lock in Rogue Lock Druid, I feel like I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I feel like normally it's North America that kind of steals the meta from Europe. They kind of watch and observe Europe and see what's working on over there. But now it seems like Method Black should actually observe Super Frogs in North America to try and deal with this composition, because Super Frogs just owned every single game. It was probably the most one-sided matchup I've ever seen when they started running the Demonic Circle. There was absolutely no opportunity for the Melee Cleave to do very much. So when they know that they can set that situation up, I'm very confused as to why they aren't. They're taking all of their time to lock in, so maybe they're doing something different.
I mean, even we like we said earlier on in this tournament on Friday, we saw Wildcard Gaming.
Ooh.
All right, well,
Okay.
that's something different.
Now that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, the map makes more sense now. But I was going to say, even earlier on Friday when we saw Wildcard Gaming play against the Pumpers, Wildcard Gaming, you know what they played? They played Windwalker Monk with a Frost Mage and a Resto Druid, and it did really well into these Cleave setups. The exact one Wildcard Gaming is running, so Method Black had to have saw that, but I think this is a solid answer. With the Holy Paladin, you have a lot more protection, And I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to see Method Black look for an all-in onto Looney, try to rush him down, overwhelm him with stuns and pressure. And if WildCard Gaming tries to do the same thing on Chaz, being a Holy Paladin, he has a little bit more defense he can rely on.
Yeah, I guess it was actually, it was the last game. I was like, is there a chance for a mirror? You see the small map and you're like, they have the potential to do it. We know that they can. We've been waiting to see more of Waz on that Monk. Now we do see it. Chaz on the Paladin, you bring up the fact that they can potentially set up for an all-in. They have that extra protection. They have a lot of extra things going for them. This seems like the time to try a composition like this. Seiko, how do you feel about it?
I like it. I would have liked it more, I think, with the Demon Hunter. It feels like the Demon Hunter would be a little bit more bursty than the Death Knight. And like you already mentioned, Van, what we're expecting here is an all-in onto Looney, where Chaz is going to push in, get the Hammer of Justice. Waz and Swapsy are going to pile over onto Looney, try to follow that up maybe with a leg sweep or something. And they're going to try to 100-0 him with those Maledict trinkets comboed. So I feel like if that's your game plan, bring in something a bit more bursty. Bring in the Demon Hunter. You have Raikou waiting in the wings. I don't know. I guess the DK can. I guess the grip is kind of nice, but the Demon Hunter also can just keep up with the Monk a lot better. So I really am not sure what to expect here.
It's actually really good portal positioning you can use as a Mistweaver Monk. Not a lot of monks do it, but when you're getting all in like this, one of the best places you can have your Transcendence is right in the middle of the map. So what happens is you drop your port in the middle, and then you can run to any side, any of the 4 sides of the platform, and if someone chases down, you immediately port to the center of the map, and you can, with one Chi Torpedo, be literally across the map.
Yeah.
And that's really good portal positioning, and I think if Looney implements that, it's not going to be that easy for Waz and Swapsy to chase him down.
I don't think that if they try an all-in Looney, I think they're going to lose. I don't think Looney's going to die. I think, especially on Dalaran Sewers, I think there were better maps to pick to kill a Mistweaver than on Dalaran Sewers if that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to try an all-in Blizzo and just Blessing of Protection off his Touch of Karma and try and kill him 100-0, but Chaz will likely die before that point happens. So I don't like this pick. I think Method Black had better options, better maps.
What map would be better?
Not for this, but what map would be better? I mean, Runes of Lordaeron, still you can kite well as a Mistweaver.
It's been played.
The worst map for a Mistweaver to survive.
Yeah, just
probably Hook Points.
Been played.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Hook Point and Runes both been played. Blade's Edge, ZY Axis.
You definitely
There's no good maps to do this strategy on, unfortunately.
That's why I don't think they shouldn't do this strategy.
I'm skeptical towards it as well.
Just to put what's happening in perspective as well. Obviously, the strategy itself, very interesting. Seeing Chaz on the Holy Paladin, going to be very interesting. This is the 31st game that we have seen Paladin on this entire season. And to put that into context, we've seen Resto Druid 451 maps this year. So 31 to 451 Paladin to Druid. And at the beginning of you also have to keep in mind, at the beginning, we did see Holy Paladin quite a bit, right? And then Druid just completely take over.
Quite a bit.
Well, here's the thing. Well, 31 times, right? the thing is you saw it a lot more with some of the top Holy Paladins like Zach and Rubcup, and then they instantly abandoned it. Seeing Chaz come in here as somebody who hasn't mained that Holy Paladin, teching it in, really shows that they want to get something spicy underway. Will it work? We already hear how difficult it may be on this map. If they're not able to pull it off, they're dropping down to face Change My Mind right after this.
Yep, Looney, let's see what he's going to do. Already dropping a Ring apiece, caught into a leg sweep. Now, the good thing for WildCard Gaming is they actually have 2 rings apiece, and that's very valuable as a defensive cooldown. Looney already forced to use his Fortifying Brew, taking out some damage. For Waz, what he needs to do is get his Transcendence on top of Looney. So if Looney ports away, Waz can instantaneously be back on him. But Looney's been doing a really good job rotating through so far. Still has his Trinket, his Life Cocoon, and I don't know if this Method Black all-in is going to work.
Yeah, it may not. Although as the Holy Paladin, you do have more powerful cooldowns than the Mistweaver for sure. So if they keep going 1 for 1, Method Black will get ahead in that regard. Looney in a great position, gets gripped in. Waz tries to Transcendence Portal in line of sight. They use a Blessing of Protection to try and deny the Touch of Death. and that is going to be good denial and allow Waz to connect. Full Hammer of Justice. This is where we expect Looney to be in trouble, so he uses Gladiator's Medallion to remove the stun, escape to safety in midfield, avoiding the touch of death. Good response from Looney to survive that attack, but now the next Hammer of Justice, he has no real good response. He has to predict the incoming stun, activate Life Cocoon right before it hits. Not an easy task.
Yeah,
he just did it.
Oh, such a nice job by Looney. Ring of Peace gets dropped out by Blizzo as well. Counter Ring of Peace by Waz. But Looney's going to be just fine, and Waz is the one that could be in some trouble. Wants to get the Touch of Karma onto Looney to redirect the damage to the right target. As once again,
that's a mistake.
Looney ports away, but he's in line of sight. He gets gripped back. This could be disastrous for Looney. Ride the Wind dropped out by Blizzo, allowing Looney to buy some time to escape. Waz really having a difficult time connecting to his target. He's just constantly changed device, consistently over and over. They need to land another stun on Looney.
He has to pre-fortified Elixir. Looney pre-fortify Elixir's the blind. Now if they stun him, he'll have damage reduction. Looney is such a great survival healer if you try and train him down. This is a mistake, though. These Transcendence portals in line of sight of Death Grip could easily cost Looney the game. Everything else, the most difficult parts, he's doing easy breezy, but the easier parts he's kind of throwing away. But now they can overwhelm. There's not much defense. Muscular protection needs to be enough. Now it looks like it's going to be. Looney has to retreat away. Ring of Peace should deny the reconnect. Once again, so Looney has to expect being stunned and activate Life Cocoon right before the stun happens. Will he get it? He didn't get it this time. This might be trouble. Zeepai's backing him up, stuns Waz. That allows Looney to survive. Now Transcendence out of line of sight, and Looney setting his team up for victory.
Definitely Looney trying to escape. A beautiful Ring of Peace once again will allow Looney to escape as he rolls through it. Waz, Swapsy, they're not going to have that same luxury as they are left behind. Zeepai, Blizzo still all over Waz, and really Waz with no Touch of Karma going to be feeling very vulnerable. You see Swapsy and Looney completely across the map. Waz has to reconnect if he wants to take down Looney, but look, Method Black Chaz, his HP's low. He doesn't have much mana left to work with, and things are falling apart for Method Black.
Yeah, but Waz has a lot of defensives. I actually think WildCard Gaming should just run Chaz into the ground. Leave Looney alone. He's got Gladiator's Medallion. Let him survive and just kill Chaz. What is Chaz going to do? Looney gets stun locked. Ring of Peace protects him for now. Transcendence, is it in line of sight? Nope, not able to, but Swapsy will reconnect. Looney gets interrupted. Could be trouble. Surprised to not see him just wave the crane while interrupted. Now crowd control secure, but a pre-touch of Karma. Waz expected being stunned. Good play on his part. Gripping Waz now away from Looney. Waz Transcendence right into Looney's pathing. Big mistake from Looney moving towards that. Now Ring of Peace protects him for a bit longer. Looney's got everything to survive. Method Black, they're out of cooldowns. They've been going 1 for 1, but Looney's preemptive plays have really denied any openings. Now all 3 members in trouble. Looney would have to throw at this point to lose. Wave of the Crane gets activated. Waz gets stunned. This is it. Looney's looking to push and close this series out.
Yeah, Waz deflects with the Fist of Fury. The Turbo Fist gives him enough parry, but after that, Blizzo, Zeepai, they're going to be able to rip in. Once again, Looney cutting away, doing an excellent job. Caught into a full stun. He trinkets out immediately. One final Rising Sun kick to top himself off. Waz in desperation, trying to train him down, but I don't think Method Black has the pressure. But Looney gets interrupted. A lot of incoming damage. He Chi torpedoes away. Full stun on Waz. Asphyxiate on Chaz. WildCard Gaming could close this out, but the final leg sweep isn't going to be enough. WildCard Gaming, hold on. I have to say they played beautifully in terms of defensive cooldown rotation in that last game. Definitely earning their victory.
Yeah, I mean, there were some real opportunities